All right, everyone, welcome back into another Fantasy Golf video. Going to be breaking down round 4 here of the Genesis Invitational. Going to be breaking down a lot, giving you guys my favorite prop bets, my favorite head-to-head bets, and two-ball bets as well. Going to touch on some potential live bets as well, but we're going to start here with the showdown coverage here for round 4. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, guys, so I am kicking myself a little bit from the round 4 or round 3 showdown slate where I did kind of go out of my way to target both Rory and Scotty, which was a mistake. The data was kind of telling us not to do that based off of the lineup construction that ended up coming out. And the lineups that didn't have it did all pretty darn well, mostly because I was able to get to Patrick Rogers a decent amount, who was kind of a value option who played well. His bogey-free round cost me a decent amount of money. If he gets that, a bogey-free round or a birdie, and then also Aubert gets a freaking birdie on 18, and he didn't get up and down, take down a showdown GPP. So very tilting there, but it ended up being a good day. But again, kind of kicking myself for not just trusting the data fully and just going with the fair and balanced approach, which was what the data was telling us to do. Now, I might do that again today, fair warning, because Scotty and Rory had such bad rounds that I kind of just think, typical regression back to the mean, they're probably going to have better rounds. Rory had one of his worst putting rounds in a while, and Scotty has been some of that, his worst round 3. And so I do expect Scotty and Rory to both have better rounds in round 4. The question is, do you want to play both of them in a lineup together? You could do that, but what is the data telling us to do? Obviously, with round 4 showdown, we are concentrating on likelihood to win. And if we look at, I'll talk about win rank in a little bit here. Aubert's going to be number 1 in that category, and then we'll touch on that. But that makes sense why he'd be popping up then as the top showdown play, and then Patrick Cantlay's kind of popping up in there. Danny McCarthy, probably a value option. Obviously, the placement points we're looking at there. Akshay is kind of the one that stands out to me the most, guys. Pricing wise, he's going to be a little bit cheaper, and he's some of that still can get those position points. Obviously, round 4 is all about getting those golfers that are going to get hot and go low. Like a player like Colin Morikawa and even Russell Henley, who both had terrible back nines, I actually think they have a good chance to really go out and have a good round in round 4, simply because, again, kind of like Scotty and Rory, they didn't have good rounds in round 3, and they're all 4 great golfers that were projected to play well, had kind of just lackluster rounds in general, but it wouldn't be surprising for them all to have those good round 4s and give us the result that we expected throughout the tournament. And that's kind of what I am thinking is going to happen. So it just really depends on how many lineups you're doing. If you're doing 20 lineups, obviously you're going to be a little bit more safe with them. If you're doing 150 lineups, you're going to be a little bit more spread out with what you're trying to do. So I already went ahead and did a lineup here, guys, or just a general run, just a raw run here for you without any parameters on it. And so if we look at it, it is definitely going more of a fair and balanced approach there. So again, to Aubert, JT, Denny McCarthy, Sam Stevens kind of had a not bad back nine, but not a good one. So it wouldn't be surprising to see him play better. Nick Taylor kind of carrying right now in some of my builds, and then Maverick McNeely. I do want to call it. We had a couple questions about this in the Discord chat. So if the projection data is changing, like the fantasy score projections, they might change slightly. And that's because we are pulling in Vegas data for that kind of their odds likelihood to win, especially for round 4. That's a factor in there a little bit more because obviously placement points matter a lot, but also based off of the PrizePicks and Underdog prop bets as well, basically adjusting for that market as well, still using the 9-to-5 data as the focal point, but we are factoring that in there as well. That's why it might change a little bit there, but let's just do a kind of a normal general thing that I do. So 30% max exposure, 3 unique lineups. This is literally what I did yesterday to have that good lineup. And had I not bumped up Scotty and Rory's to get to 30% exposure, probably have an even bigger day. I'm kicking myself again, guys. But looking at guys here would be the player exposure then. So it definitely likes Aubert, JT, Denny McCarthy, Sam Stevens. So not terrible there. And what I would say, guys, if you are, well, look at this. All right, we are getting 25. We're good. So the data is giving us 25% Scotty and Rory at 30% naturally. We're good. We don't even have to adjust that. What I was going to say, though, if you are worried about that, and maybe you are someone that's only doing 20 lineups, what you could do is break it down like this. I don't know. Let's say you wanted Scotty and Rory in all of your builds together. Maybe take off the max exposure, maybe take off the unique players. And what you could do, you could simply just go in and click the lock button for those two. Okay, get those in there. And then you're ensuring 5 builds in this scenario with those 2 players in there, and you're sitting pretty good. You still have Patrick Rogers in there, Rory, Scotty. So very interesting there. I don't mind that. Actually, I think that's decent if you guys want to go that approach, because again, I do think given the fact that those 2 had poor rounds, they will do better. And I don't mind the idea of pairing them 2 together. But The question is, who is most likely to win, and how will that influence your showdown builds or maybe some potential live bets? Let's jump into that. All right, guys, so we're going to take a peek at the win rank. Which golfers are going to be the most likely to win heading into round 4? And what you are going to notice here, Patrick Rodgers is pretty low down the list, okay? Typically not someone that shows up in these situations. The water ball on 18 to cost me the bogey-free round kind of points to that as well. He did come up clutch, though, with his next shot to only make a bogey. But we're looking at guys, Aubert, Denny, Rory, and Scotty. I think they're about the same, to be honest with you. And then Tommy Fleetwood, Patrick Cantlay. I'm surprised by Patrick Cantlay. If I had to pick someone from this group that would go low, again, would be Patrick Cantlay. These are kind of the conditions I like. He's been someone that has been playing well this whole season, just hasn't had that spike week, and it wouldn't be surprising to see him continue that here in round 4 and then have a good round. Now, if we look at the average odds right now, what are we going to notice? It's that the Vegas data really likes Patrick Rodgers to win. They're saying he's not going to blow up. Okay, so there is potential to gain some leverage based off of that. You could do a live bet on Aubert to win at about 3-1 on average. You could do that. Denny McCarthy would be another option. But then you got Scotty there, you got Rory there, which again, the data kind of liked. And the one that I would probably like the most would be Patrick Cantlay at 16-1. If you guys wanted to find one there, it'd be Aubert or Patrick Cantlay. It's tough to really like any of them though for the most part. But I'm staying away. But if you guys want to find a live bet, I wanted to give that to you guys. All right, so now let's go ahead and get into the round 4 bets. So this was something that I need to update from the update that I made earlier on this week to match for the 2-ball bets and whatnot. So when we're getting the ties as a betting market as well. And so I went ahead and did that. It's going to operate the exact same as what I mentioned earlier on in the week. But I want to show you guys this. We are not getting that many plus EV bets, expected value bets based off of the 9-to-5 data. And so what we're seeing here, maybe Nick Taylor to beat Hideki, just in terms of the percent likelihood to hit. 9-to-5 data likes it a little bit more. Maverick McNeely to beat Justin Thomas. The 9-to-5 data likes it a little bit more than what Vegas has given us. Rory to beat Scotty a little bit more than Vegas. And then Matthew Pavon to beat Taylor Pendrith. I'm not doing that. Don't do that, guys. Taylor Pendrith is going to go off in his round 4. He needs to. It's annoying. I have a pretty good week going main build wise and just in general. If Taylor Pendrith goes out and has a good round 4, as well as everyone else kind of just doing what they've been doing, could be a very solid week, even better week. So I don't want that to hit. But I don't necessarily really like any of these. But we have 4 kind of plus EV bets in terms of us gaining a potential edge on the books. Now, if we sort it by matchup odds again, I don't really like, honestly, any of these. If you guys like one of them, by all means, go for it in terms of the edge that we're getting. Maybe Nick Taylor to beat Hideki. I could see that one. The 9-to-5 data is giving it a 38% chance. The betting odds is getting about 35, so not terrible. I could get behind that. Then McNeely, I don't really like. Honestly, probably just Nick Taylor beating Hideki, which don't exactly love. It mostly seems like a stay away. It seems like the bets that we're getting, the odds that we're getting are basically correct. So we'll go ahead now and jump into some matchup bets. And we'll start by showing you guys some plus EV bets that we are currently getting right now, guys. Again, I know most people don't have Bovada or Pinnacle, but some people might have BetMGM. And so if you wanted to do Nick Dunlap beating Seamus Power, you could. BetMGM is currently about 2% higher on this bet than they should be for this. So not terrible. No, sorry. It would be, no, I said that correctly. That's right. Any other ones? Unibet. This one's pretty good. Tony Finau being Sam Burns. Another one with BetMGM. I don't necessarily love these. We have a DraftKings one. Okay, so I don't really like those ones, honestly, that we're getting there. So we'll do the normal thing that I would do here. So we're going to jump into FanDuel, DraftKings, and BetMGM, sorted by the 9-to-5 data. Obviously, this has been a pretty good success for us thus far this year. We'll see. Any big edges that we like here? So Akshay beating Wyndham Clark. Okay, he is one of those players that is popping up showdown-wise. Okay, is a player that you're probably getting to showdown-wise. So this is where the data is also agreeing with that. Minus 105. So kind of interesting. Wyndham Clark is the favorite by minus 125, and we're getting Akshay at minus 105. I like that one. Okay, and that's really where we're getting the value. If this was at 115, minus 115, it probably wouldn't be a good bet. So based off that line, we're sitting pretty good. You could potentially do Nick Taylor over Stefan Jaeger. Again, double dipping there with Nick Taylor if you want, where we're just betting on Nick Taylor to have a good round at that point. If you guys want to do that, you could. Here's another interesting one on FanDuel. Okay, so FanDuel, we got Aaron Rye beating Matt Fitzpatrick. Okay, minus 105. So a decent edge there. So I like that one so far, and I like the Akshay one. And then from there, are we getting any other spots that we could feel pretty good about? Maybe. But I think I'm just going to roll with those two. Okay, guys. So Akshay beating Wyndham Clark, and then Aaron Rai beating Matt Fitzpatrick. Okay, so I'm fine with those. And so I do believe we are getting underdog prop bets. we're already seeing some of the lines get grayed out. Let me refresh this. Okay, so all right. I knew we were getting Scotty and Rory Ryans, but I didn't know if we were getting more lines than that. So I had already bet on their unders for that. So if you guys want to do that, you can. But I will say, again, with someone like Patrick Cantlay, his line is a little bit too high, I think. I think he is someone that will have a good round. 71.5 is interesting. The course did play a little bit more difficult than I thought in round 3. But, the weather's not an issue. We really don't have to worry about the weather. So I do think it is still going to play relatively better, more predictable than at least the first 2 rounds. So guys, I do want to get into the 9 to 5 cheat sheet so you guys can see what it's telling us. But I do want to call this out as well. Was able to give out some slips here. So for this one, I mentioned that we were getting 2 prop line differences for Aubert and Scotty, something that happened in round 3, whereas a full stroke difference, that should never be happening. So I tweeted out, I'm like, I really didn't know which side I wanted to be on, whether it be the overs or the unders. So I just double dipped. I did the hires on PrizePicks, the hires on Underdog and the unders on PrizePicks. Obviously, these 2 ended up hitting on Underdogs, so that ended up being profitable. And then I also posted this as well. It was so annoying. Like literally right after I got done with the video and then posting it to Twitter, we started to get some of these bets. So Taylor Pendrith over 3.5 birdies or better, really like that. And I really hyped up Patrick Cantlay a lot in yesterday's video. So I felt pretty good about getting him at over 4 birdies or better. So very solid day, PrizePicks wise and Underdog wise. And so, guys, yesterday, in the 9 to 5 Discord chat, I was telling people that we were getting Rory and Scotty for under 4.5 birdies or better. And I told people not to bet it. Now, I did tell people to just target a lot of the overs, 4 birdies or better, or unders for strokes, because I did think the course would play a little bit easier. That ended up working out for the most part. But very interesting here that Scotty's still at 4.5 birdies or better. Again, I do think he is someone that is due to have a better day. But you look at someone like Aubert, wouldn't be surprised to see him have a little bit of a worse day. Now, 5 birdies is going to be difficult to get to. That's the big caveat, guys. And the question is, I haven't seen the pin placements or anything like that. The question is, will it be a setup to encourage golfers to maybe catch the leader like Patrick Rogers and Denny McCarthy, so you can get one of those bigger name golfers in there, so the course does play a little bit easier? Or will it be a typical Sunday setup where it's going to be really difficult? Either or. But right now, as it sits, those are 2 pretty solid bets. But the one that I like the most would probably be Russell Henley here at 3.5 birdies or better. And he is someone that has had definitely an interesting tournament thus far, where he just hasn't really got hot. Like it wouldn't be surprising to see him have a birdie streak. Like this was the first round in which he kind of played poorly. Again, that back 9 where he had 5 straight bogeys. That was brutal. That was annoying as well. But really just not getting anything going. And so he's someone that can get hot. And so for him to get over 3.5 birdies or better wouldn't be shocking. Did get that in round 1, which was the most difficult weather-wise. And now he's slowly gotten worse. So that does kind of tell me he probably will have a spike week or a spike day. So I don't mind that. And then we could potentially be looking at some of these other over birdies or better. If you guys want to go that route, you certainly could. I do kind of want to see what the PrizePicks lines are going to be before I place any bets, but I will give you guys the simple bet of the day. I think I will just be running out Russell Henley for his over and then Aubert for under. And so if you guys like that bet and you guys have never signed up for Underdog before, just a reminder, use the promo code 925. They'll give you guys a $50 deposit match. So take advantage of that. Also, easy way to help out the channel. But I already gave you guys kind of the bets I'm looking at for matchup bets and potentially the 2-ball bets. What we could be doing then for Underdog right now as it sits is Russell Henley for 3.5 birdies or better and Ludwig Aubert for under 4.5 birdies or better. The nice thing about this is because they don't correlate, it's going to be a boosted payout slightly, which is nice. Which is just like a funny thing to touch on. Like today is why you see why they have to reduce payouts so much when they correlate with strokes or birdies or better with the same prop bets, because this could have, like, they were just wrong with a lot of spots that were there. And so if you just like stack those together, you could have easily got a 4 for 4 or 5 for 5. That's exactly why they had to do it. So I get it. I don't want to complain about that, but it's also annoying because like 2 years ago, today would have been a pretty darn good day with some of the lines that Underdog was giving us at the start of the day. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. I do want to remind you guys of the 9 to 5 membership. Get access to all your favorite fantasy golf tools for just $10 a month. Including that is going to be PrizePicks, Underdog prop tools as well. Make sure you're making the best bets possible each and every slate for each and every sport. Head on over to the 9 to 5 membership. You guys get access to all these tools that are in there as well. All right, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully you guys have a good round 4 and also a good rest of the main slate. I know there's probably a lot of 6 for 6 lines for people that watched the core plays and preview video. Hopefully it breaks your way. I'm feeling probably too confident for round 4 main slate wise. So maybe that works out. Hopefully it does. And hopefully it does for you guys as well. All right, thanks for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.